As we move on here, Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss, we are going to be now talking about the O's. I know this is the part that you always wait for, right? You just want to get to that offense.
The big beefy boys up
front.
Let's.
Well, I mean, look, we were talking a little bit about the playmakers yesterday, but you can't really have those playmakers go out and do anything if you don't have anybody blocking and allowing the quarterback some time to make room. So when you talk about that offensive line, head coach Ron Rivera just addressed the media, and he was saying he feels pretty good about the right. And we heard that from offensive coordinator Scott Turner as well, because you have Brandon Sheriff, Pro Bowler. You have Chase Roulier and Morgan Moses. Look, last season and for the past few years, they've been really beat up, had a lot of penalties against them. That's very well documented. But still, no matter what, they get out there and they play. But it comes a little bit more of a question mark when you get to the left side of the ball. It's the battle of the Wes's. Wes Martin really came on strong at the end of last season, and they also brought in Wes Schweitzer, 3 years. He comes in from from Atlanta. I was going to say Alabama. Too much Alabama on this team at times.
Alabama does that too.
It does a little bit. Right. Out of Atlanta, he comes up. And then also there's 3 battling for the left tackle position. When it comes to evaluating the guys on the O-line, I mean, what is it you're kind of really looking for as they say the competition's open?
Well, one of the things I'm looking for being a receiver is that, you need them. You need them more than anything. And we talked about so many of those skill guys that we have on this team. And for these guys to be elusive and be efficient, they need those beefy guys up front. I'm gonna call them
That seems fair.
The big Franks. Pause with that. But honestly, when you talked about the right side, we say Roulier, we say Moses, Sheriff, all those guys. Yeah, those are familiar names. But last year we know was one of the probably worst years. They wasn't really healthy, and it was a down year for all of them. Roulier being a young guy, I think he probably played graded out, better than both of those 2 veteran guys. But now we talk about the left side. We need a guard and we need a tackle. I'm very confident in the young kid, Sadiq. I think he's a guy that played in the SEC. When you come from the SEC, you're ready to play on this level. Years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, I remember being a player here, and we got Trent Williams. And everyone asked that same question about a young guy coming in here, filling in that void. Can he do what Big Chris did for so many years? Trent Williams has been a Pro Bowl player since he stepped on the field. So I'm looking for Sadiq Charles to do the same thing. I'm looking for this guy to win that job. I understand there's going to be competition all over the board, but you heard it from me. I want him to be the guy. And then when you come to your left guard, you just say, hey, Wes Schweitzer and Wes Martin, the best man should have it. And I think that's how we can solidify our offensive line. But one of the bright spots about the offensive line this year to me is that we have depth. And I think when you have depth, you don't have to worry about looking for guys in the street, calling guys up every week to come in for workouts. You have enough guys that you can homegrown, get them ready for your scheme, and then pick and choose who you want to put up that week.
Yeah, Jaron Christian will have the opportunity to kind of get in there and start it and compete again with Sadiq Charles. And also have Cornelius Lucas that's coming in as well. I mean, that's the thing, is you do have the options, but it's kind of who can when you talk about Sadiq Charles, they say there's a lot of upside to him. They compare him sometimes to Elaine Johnson when he's kind of one of his best. And he said he idolized Trent Williams going out there. There's no reason why you wouldn't when he's a 7-time Pro Bowler and, consistently out there. Of course, there were a little bit knocks against him coming in, but that doesn't take anything away from the ability that he has on the field. Even Coach was saying it's going to be, he's looking forward to kind of seeing that battle.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see players kind of having to battle out a little bit, especially for,
I'm just looking forward for the competition side of this game, period. I think that's what creates champions. We see so many times, you wonder why some of the teams are great and some of the teams get to their destiny, or you wonder why the Patriots, I didn't want to speak on them, but you wonder why these guys week in and week out, because they open the door. You come in here and you compete for this job and you win it, then you should be out there on the field. Every coach I've spoken to, since I've been here, that's the first thing they talk about, competition and trust. And so when these guys get out there, they're going to know that we battling every day for that job.
What about the fact that they didn't have, for Sadiq Charles coming in? To come in and start being a left starting tackle anyways would be a big challenge to the jump. But you do mention that he was in the SEC LSU, won that championship as well, won the offensive lineman of the year for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But how much is he set back by not having the OTAs and the mini camps?
Well, you look at a lot of these guys are going to be set back. So I think the league as an entirety is going to have that, hey, everybody get out there. Week 1 is going to look like preseason. So it's going to be a lot of guys rotating, trying to get breathers, because it's fun. It's uncharted water. They never experienced anything like this. So I think that's what he has on his side. He can use that and say, well, look, that guy across from me, whether he's a veteran or not, he's going through the same thing I'm going through. I think most of these young guys are just ready to be here and go out here and be great here. So I think when you have a young guy coming in, he's trying to upshow that guy anyway. He's trying to show that guy that, hey, man, I'm meant to be here and I'm going to bring it to you. So I don't look at it as a setback. I think these guys have more than what they need to go out there and be efficient and have a great season.
All right. Well, what'd you call them again?
What's that?
The Franks?
The Big Franks?
The Big Franks?
The Big Franks.
Call them the Big Franks. Should be your best friend on the team if you're anybody on offense, and should be the quarterback's best friend as well. So we'll see how that competition plays out once they finally get out there. Another area that is pretty much wide open on this team would be the tight end position. Look, Jordan Reed, congratulations, as he was just picked up by the 49ers. Like, there's no argument that when he's healthy, when he's on the field, he could be the best tight end out there for you. Unfortunately, those concussions, 7 documented, kind of just knocked him out. So since he's gone and Vernon Davis went and decided to retire after his long career, it's really kind of quite open. You have Jeremy Sprinkle, Logan Thomas, as soon as he gets cleared because he was in COVID. I think they're expecting a lot out of him. Marcus Ball, Richard Rodgers, Hale Hinches, Caleb Wilson, Thaddeus Moss. And so basically you have a lot of players trying to go up and see who can make an impact.
Yeah, one of the things about that position, when you look at it, you know, one of the familiar names to us is Sprinkle. So we want to see how far he's come along since he's got here. I think last year he showed signs and that he has a bright future, that he can lead, he can go out there and get better every year. Then when you think about some of those other names, you just haven't seen these guys proven on this level yet. Logan Thomas is one of the guys that you was counting on to be here. And I understand these situations and the conditions that we're under right now in COVID, he has to do what he has to do to quarantine and come back and have a negative test. So we will be waiting on him. But one of the names that stand out to me is Thaddeus Moss. You know, he's another SEC guy, come from LSU. We know his father well, and we share the same last name. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. He's going to be a young guy. No, I'm not looking for him to be our savior at that position, but I'm looking forward to seeing this guy come out here and display what it takes to be who he is, and I think he's going to do just that.
Yeah, when he addressed the media, of course, if 20 questions were asked, 18 of them were about his father and following. And he said, look, he doesn't get tired of the questions. He understands it's going to come. That's what you have when you have a Hall of Fame dad such as Randy. I actually covered Randy with the Patriots. But, you know, Randy Moss actually played with Adrian Peterson as well, and now here he is playing with his son, which is kind of wild. He said, I won't go up to Adrian and ask advice. It's just kind of not my style, but I'm sure the two will have some fun stories to talk about. It is a good storyline to follow us on. Logan, when it comes to Logan Thomas, I was talking to some of the Detroit coaches, and they really wanted to keep him. They really liked him at that position. I believe he scored on the Redskins as well when he played against the Detroit. But they just couldn't pay him the money, and he got him over here and the opportunities. Look, he's a converted quarterback to the position, so he doesn't have as much wear and tear. He's still kind of learning it, which Scott Turner was telling us as well. Yeah,
he's a great pickup. You know, one of the things that we talk about nowadays in this offense, you know, these tight ends are not, you know, with their hands in the dirt as much. And so with Logan being a guy that he's played the position as a quarterback, he can see the field. He knows what's to be a safety net, and that's what our young quarterback is going to need, a guy that knows the inside game. And, you know, with all the other weapons he has around him, I think he's going to fit well. So we just need you back, buddy, you know.
All right, give me a name. Who's going to be your starting tight end before we even see them on the field?
Right now, I gotta ride with Sprinkles. You know, I want to give him a chance to go out there and strut his stuff and show the coaches why he's here. And until Logan get back and be able to compete, you know, a lot of the other guys I just haven't seen. So I'm pretty sure the door is wide open. You know, coaches, I'm pretty sure he's telling them that right now in the meetings. It's going to be a competition-driven thing every day in practice, and may the best guy win, and may the best guy be standing last. So we'll see.
I'm going to go with Logan. By the time he gets back out of this whole COVID quarantine and protocol, everything, they'll probably just finally be putting helmets on anyway. So I'm not sure what he's really missing. Maybe just the warm-ups and the walkthroughs